Welcome back to our presidential podcast. Today we're diving into one of the tensest moments in U.S. history, the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962.
And to help us understand it, we have a very special guest, President John F. Kennedy himself. Thank you for joining us, Mr. President.
It's my pleasure. These events were some of the most dangerous days our nation has ever faced, and I'm glad to share what happened.
So let's start from the beginning. What set the stage for this crisis?
Well, after the Second World War, the United States and the Soviet Union became rivals in what was called the Cold War. We were both building more nuclear weapons. Each side worried the other might gain an advantage. In 1959, Fidel Castro came to power in Cuba, only 90 miles from Florida. When the Bay of Pigs invasion failed in 1961, Cuba grew closer to the Soviets. Premier Khrushchev saw a chance to place nuclear missiles right on our doorstep.
So, when did you find out about the missiles in Cuba?
On October 14, 1962, a U-2 spy plane took photos of missile sites being built. These were medium and intermediate range missiles. They could strike almost every major American city, Washington, New York, Chicago, in just minutes.
What was your first thought when you saw the photos?
I thought about the lives at stake. Millions of Americans could be lost if even one missile were launched. I knew we had to act, but carefully.
What options did your advisors give you?
Some generals wanted immediate airstrikes to destroy the sites. Others wanted a full invasion of Cuba, but that risked war with the Soviet Union. On the other hand, doing nothing would make us look weak and leave us open to attack.
That must have been a tough spot. How did you decide?
I called together my advisors, the ex-com, and we debated for hours. I wanted a response that was strong but not reckless. In the end, I chose a naval quarantine, what most people call a blockade. It would stop more missiles from arriving while giving the Soviets time to think.
So, did you worry this choice might still trigger war?
Yes, any wrong move could have led to conflict no one could win, but I felt it gave us the best chance for peace.
It will be the policy of this nation to regard any nuclear missile launched from Cuba against any nation in the Western Hemisphere as an attack by the Soviet Union on the United States, requiring a full retaliatory response upon the Soviet Union. I call upon Chairman Khrushchev to halt and eliminate this clandestine, reckless, and provocative threat to world peace and to stable relations between our two nations.
So when the quarantine began, what was it like during those 13 days?
Very tense. Soviet ships carrying weapons sailed toward our blockade. Our Navy was prepared to stop them. At the same time, people across America were preparing for the worst. Schools practiced duck and cover drills. Families built bomb shelters. People bought canned food.
And behind the scenes, you were talking with Khrushchev?
Yes, we exchanged letters. In one, he offered to remove the missiles if we promised not to invade Cuba. The next day, he demanded we also removed U.S. missiles from Turkey.
That must have been confusing. How did you choose which message to answer?
I chose to respond to the first letter, the one that seemed more reasonable. We quietly agreed to remove the missiles from Turkey later, but the main point was to end the crisis peacefully.
And then one of our planes was shot down, right?
Yes, a U-2 plane. Generals wanted to strike back immediately, but I knew if we attacked, war would begin. I held back, and that decision may have saved millions of lives.
So, how did it finally end?
On October 28th, Khrushchev announced he would remove the missiles from Cuba. We promised not to invade, and later we quietly took missiles out of Turkey. The world breathed a sigh of relief.
Hello? General, how are you? Oh, fine. General, I just wanted to bring you up to date on this matter because I know of your concern about it. We got, Friday night, got a message from Khrushchev, which said that he would withdraw these missiles and technicians and so on, providing we did not plan to invade Cuba. We then got a message, that public one, the next morning, in which he said he would do that if we withdrew our missiles from Turkey. We then, as you know, issued a statement that we couldn't get into that deal. So we then got this message this morning. So we now have to wait to see how it unfolds, and there's a good deal of complexities to it. If the withdrawal of these missiles, technicians, and the cessation of subversive activity by them, well, we just have to set up satisfactory procedures to determine whether these actions will be carried out. So I would think that if we can do that, we'll find our interests advanced, even though it may be only one more chapter in a rather long story as far as Cuba's concerned.
How did you feel in that moment?
Well, I felt relieved, but also aware of how close we had come to disaster. It showed me that nuclear weapons must never be taken lightly.
What were the long-term effects of the crisis?
We set up a hotline between Washington and Moscow so leaders could speak directly in future crises. In 1963, we signed the Limited Test Ban Treaty to reduce nuclear testing. And perhaps most important, both sides realized how dangerous this rivalry had become.
Some people say the crisis was your greatest moment as president. What do you think?
I believe leadership is about more than showing strength. It's about protecting people and avoiding unnecessary war. If history remembers me for helping to keep the peace, I will be satisfied.
That's powerful.
Last question, Mr. President. So what lessons should we take from the Cuban Missile Crisis?
That in times of danger, calm judgment is more powerful than anger, and that peace is always worth fighting for.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. President.
Thank you.
And thank you to our listeners. For 13 days in 1962, the world was one step from nuclear war. Thanks to strong and careful leadership, we stepped back.